Hello again. Here's part two of my Maiden ranking albums. And like I said, I'm doing it in eras. Last time it was the classic era, which is the first seven albums. Now I'm going to what I call the 90's era, which is a really odd time for them. It's lots of things happening. Adrian Smith left, then halfway through this 90's period, Bruce Dickinson left before he came back a few years later. And yes, and Blaze Bayley took over. So this is a really uncertain time for the band, I would say. It's very kind of uncomfortable, and there was like, what they're going to do and that sort of thing, and I'm going to rank the four albums that came out during that period. I don't think the first one was that controversial. This may be controversial in terms of the ranking where I put things, but we'll wait and see. So anyway, at number four is No Prayer for the Dying, which is obviously Bruce and Janet Gears for the first time has arrived in the band, and he started performing on this album. This is the only album I've from that Bruce Dickinson era I'm kind of not a great fan of. There are some good tracks in there, but I would say they're generic Maiden. They're they're going back to their roots or whatever, and they're very generic and that sort of stuff. And so there are some good tracks in it, but I think they're kind of pastiche tracks like Tail Gunner. It's like, okay, they want to go down the Aces High route, but it's not as good as Aces High. There's Holy Smoke, which is a fun track, all right, and with the video, it's like, okay, a pastiche. Okay, they're having a laugh, having fun, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure they could cover religious hypocrisy in a much more serious manner, perhaps. And like you say, they could. And later on in their career, they've come up with great tracks about World War and questioning, bad religion and rubbish faith sort of thing. So into the good stuff. Like I say, it's not my favourite one. I mean, obviously, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, which was a big hit, which I'm not sure is a particularly great song. It's a good crowd piece, I believe, and Steve Harris's bass playing is absolutely fantastic. Basically, it's not my favourite Iron Maiden album with Bruce on it, but yeah, that's why it's number four. But like I said, there's no such thing as a really crap album, because you can find things in there. For example, No Prayer for the Dying is a fantastic song. It's my favourite song on this album. The actual track No Prayer for the Dying is really good. I really like that song. On to the next one, which is number three in the ranking, which may cause some upset, some people. Virtual 11. Yes, and notoriously, it's not the best album in the world, and I think some of the tracks are very kind of like really off. However, I think I'd rather have a band that's brave and experiments and fails, and one that doesn't try and just, let's go back to the old ways of doing things and just make some of that stuff we did 10 years ago. And I don't think that's any way for a band or an artist to perform. But like I said, this is the second album for the Blaze Bayley era. He came on. Blaze had a good voice. I think he was a good lead man, but obviously he was compared to Bruce unfavourably, even though he was a totally different singer. And I think some of the production on this was slightly better than most, but like I say, he's got a very low tone, Blaze Bayley, and I think that he wasn't really helped. Well, it was helped, but he wasn't really. The songs didn't serve him. Some of these songs, but these have got some great songs in here. Future Real, The Klansman, The Educated Fool, which I love, and Como Estas Amigos, which is one of my favourite tracks on this. Obviously, you got the songs that are the weakest, The Angel and the Gambler, which is I just think it was a nice experiment, but it didn't really work. And obviously, the chorus line went on and on and on and on and on and on, and you thought so. It outlived its stay for about 2 minutes. I think they could have cut it down slightly on this one, but like I say, we've got the classic The Klansman, which is a really good song, which Bruce has kind of made his own in a way. And I think it's better than No Prayer for the Dying. And I know people are going to be pissed off, but you know. But like I said, everybody's opinion is different. Everybody's opinion is valid. So that one, that's number 3, Virtual 11. Right, now the last Bruce Dickinson album before he left to go his solo career for a few years, or 5 or 6 years, I believe. And obviously this is number 2 in the list. Well, it's a stronger album than No Prayer for the Dying, definitely. It's a vast improvement. I mean, you got like the opener, Be Quick or Be Dead, which is a fantastic banger, way to open the show. They did in '92 tour, I believe. And and then you got also songs like Afraid to Shoot Strangers and From Here to Eternity. Particularly Afraid to Shoot Strangers, I think it's a really poignant song. And and like Child's Send, it's another great song, really. I think it's an underrated song. It's not talked about much, Child's Send, but it's got a great hook, and it's really kind of thought-provoking song as well, which the band are good at. And then you've got Wasting Love, which is a lovely kind of a sorrowful love song, I guess, but yeah, it's really good. And obviously you got, I mean, there are weak songs on here, I think, you know, like The Fugitive, or you know, Chains of Misery, Weekend Warrior, but Judas Be My Guide is a good song. And Fear of the Dark, obviously, which has become a staple crowd pleaser, and obviously getting the crowd involved live, which is really great. So that's good. That's why it's number 2. Okay, right, number 1. Okay, there's only one more left, and that is The X Factor, which is the first debut of Blaze Bayley. And I think this is a fantastic album, and it's the best album of the 90s Maiden, really. I think it's such a strong album. I mean, like I said before, the main problem is it's like the sound on Blaze Bayley's voice was kind of quite low, and it could have been lifted up a bit. I think that didn't serve him quite well, the mixing on this. So he's got a great song. I mean, Sign of the Cross is a great song, but it's a strange opener for an album. Maybe that's what the dark tone of the album, that's what they were going for, I guess. So this is, a really good album. Lord of the Flies, Man on the Edge, which is a great little banger, single, whatever they did. They got Fortunes of War, Look for the Truth. Yeah, lots of good songs in there. The Aftermath, Judgment of Heaven, Blood on the World's Hands, and the strongest ones, Edge of Darkness, 2 a.m., which I really personally love. I think it's resonant for someone of my age and this old bloke in his 50s, you know, life. Don't talk to me about life. And I think Steve Harris was going through some shit as well at the time he's writing this. So that kind of like, it shows on this album. It's a great album. It's got the most strangest cover, which a lot of people don't like, but I think it's quite bizarre and macabre. Which, you know, so it's a lot of fun. So yeah, this is my favourite album of the 90s Maiden. That is The X Factor. Long before Simon Cowell and these talentless mates started coining that phrase. But this is a much better X Factor than that lot. Anyway, that's my 90s thing. So I'll see you on the other side.